All right, what up, everyone? We are live. It is week 10, and it's the NFL Fantasy Today show. I'm your host, John Mosales. I got my co host here, Nathan Hernandez, and we are going to be breaking down the week, talking Berlin game. We got it going on right now, answering questions, talking start sit. We just had the trade deadline. There's some ramifications there. People are saying it's one of the biggest trade deadlines in years. Sure. And anything else really under the sun. Nate, what's cooking?
Not too much, man. Just settling in. We're hitting week 10, hitting our stride. We're really into it's the grind. It's playoffs are the push for the playoffs is really starting now.
Yeah, what do you think? What's the most important week in fantasy? I mean, we got playoffs starting week 15, week 14. Sometimes if you're fighting for your life, but
Yeah, I kind of think it's closer to like the trade deadline in your league, whenever that is. Like, 'cause that's when you gotta let like put all your chips in one pot and really go for it.
okay. So like if you've got a player, who's injured, and or you just take 50 cents on the dollar if they're going to be back, and even if they're missing a week or missing a bye week, like that bye week trade. Like if you got like Josh Allen on a bye week, would you take Bo Nix for him if you have to win that week?
No, it'd be hard to sell Josh Allen because if you're gonna win it all, you'd want Josh Allen on your team.
Yeah, that's true. That wasn't a great one. Okay, let's talk about we got the Berlin game that's going on. Not much to really update there, but what trade deadline? Anything? Any moves for you? We talked a bit about Thursday, right? Jacoby Myers to Seattle. Wait, Rashid Shaheed to Seattle. Jacoby Myers to Jacksonville. Were kind of the big ones. Anything really move the needle or have like secondary effects, like Shaheed going? Does that free up more targets for Olave? Will somebody else kind of pop up?
Yeah, I think so. In New Orleans, that'll free up. They have Brandon Cooks as like their wide receiver too right now with Devon Vele, I think, splitting time. So that really should just signal that it's going to be all Olave, maybe Juwan Johnson, who's looked good at times this year. Um, but as for Seattle's sake, I think Shaheed will kind of push Torrey Horton out of the role he was kind of starting to emerge into. But I think that really elevates Sam Darnold as a potential like really mainstay in maybe the back end high upside QB1 rest of the season.
Okay, and then Jacksonville, right? We got Brian Thomas Jr. out. Parker Washington's kind of looked pretty good. What do you think? Did Jacoby Myers going to push any of them? Because he wasn't really trying this year. It felt like, right? He wanted to get traded. The team was a mess. He was having a down year. I think that's all correlated. Do you think he made a little mini breakout here? Post trade deadline.
Yeah, I think so. I think there will be maybe a little bit more of a spark in his game, and obviously the target share will be there with Brian Thomas out. It'll be a good week for kind of him to just get out there and play catch with Trevor Lawrence. Maybe it's not a good week because they get the Texans defense, but I do like Jacoby Myers he's very easily the most talented active pass catcher they have this week. But Parker Washington will probably still be the favorite target.
And then what about on the Raiders, right? We just saw them play Denver, which was a nightmare. Bowers went from all world to mediocre. Would he have like 4.5 points? So Trey Tucker, does he have the wide receiver one chops, or do we finally get to see Jack Betch or Beck and Dante Thornton?
Yeah, I think the game you saw from Tyler Lockett being the leading receiver in the Thursday night football game was atrocious, and I think that's a bad sign for these rookie receivers in the Raiders. I don't think you can't trust them outright. I don't think they're worth a stash. The offense hasn't been good enough to deserve that. Like hope for them for their outlook the rest of the season. Trey Tucker is nice. The target share will be consistent for him, I believe, as the wide receiver one. But Bowers is still going to be the all-world alpha target in the offense.
Okay, sweet. And then what about some of the trades that didn't happen, right? We heard the Chiefs offered, I think, a fourth for Brees Hall. And then I just saw that the Bills offered a first for Jalen Waddle. Like, would those have moved the needle in the AFC?
Yeah.
Which one would have more impact, do you think?
What was the first team you said?
Brees Hall to the Chiefs.
Gotcha. I think that one would have been really interesting. I think that one. Hmm. You know, I think no. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna take that back. Chiefs have been running the ball well, no matter who's running the football for them. But the Bills are really lacking like a true wide receiver one. They haven't gotten that from Keon Coleman this year. Khalil Shakir is great, but he's not that over the top ceiling player. And Waddle could have fixed all those problems that the Bills had in their passing game.
Yeah, that would have been if they got both, then it's just fast forward to the AFC Championship.
Mhm. That said, like I think that would have mattered more, but I think it's close between who would have been like the most like the better fantasy player, like Brees Hall on the Chiefs or Waddle on the Bills. I think that um, the Bills would have gained more as a football team, but I think their fantasy profiles would have been pretty close.
Okay, okay. Well, let's just jump into week 10. So it's a weird week because we got the Bengals and the Cowboys on a bye, right? So that's two of the most
Mhm.
explosive offenses, but also two of the most explosive defenses by result of being useless, right? If you're
Mhm.
playing Cincy, playing Dallas, you just start whoever. So
Mhm.
are we think we're going to see a little more like depleted scores this week? Maybe if you're getting a 150 and winning before, what, maybe just 125? Like, how big an impact do you think having just those two teams out will make?
I think they're big too, and I think the fact that the Giants and Bears play each other too is
Ooh,
a
nice.
big one because they've been two of the most like fantasy friendly offenses or defenses in the league up there with the Cowboys and Bengals. But yeah, totally. A lot of tough matchups. The point totals across the board are down this week. We saw multiple, I think like 4 or 5 games were north of 50 this week, and I don't even know if we have one or last weekend. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, the Giants Bears. So is that the get everyone in game? I
I
think
think
we got
so.
DeAndre Swift's gonna play, but so what would we do there? Because Montague had what 176 rushing yards.
Yeah, he had 27 carries. It was crazy. That said, I think that DeAndre Swift is still he's been playing like some of the best football of his career in the first part of the season, and I think he still will have a grip on the lead role, but you can't ignore what Manungai has done at the same time. So it should be something of a split. Um, I think there was a mention of a hot hand approach to this backfield, and the Giants defense is one that's been like one of the worst in like missed tackles this year.
Yeah, yeah, and I think they're what third. They give us the third most points to running backs. Would you start both?
You can, yeah. I would probably play Swift as I think I had him as my RB 13. And I'd probably put him higher after the he said he'd play. Um, and Manungai is probably someone you'd play over the RB 1s in worse matchups.
Okay, wow. Okay, and then on the flip side, and so guys, if you're watching, give us some questions. Right, if you're on Twitter, come over to YouTube. We're just gonna preview some games. You got some start sits, some trades. We love answering questions, like we do every week. And then we got the Bears defense. I mean, is it worse than the Giants? Like they're
It's up there. Yeah, I I'd say the Giants are worse, but it's close. Splitting hairs. You get everyone in on both sides in this game. I feel like.
okay. And
I,
then what do we do about Rome? Right, I think everyone had him as like a what top 7 wide receiver last week because of the matchup, and he somehow put up 0 against it was Cincy, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, right. A game that almost had 80 points, and he had 0 fantasy points. Like that's kind of a red flag to me. Like he's either kind of nursing an injury, or I doubt it's a pouting thing, but
yeah. I feel like the Bengals have. I feel like it's been mentioned that the Bengals have their top corner's been playing good football this year, and he could have been stuck with that matchup. And because the Bengals are so bad, everything else was just cake for Williams to take all day.
huh?
Um, and I Odunze's just too talented. The offense is too good. The opportunities will be there for him to bounce back,
So
especially
we're
in this
not.
matchup.
So it's no, because this is almost as good a matchup, right? So maybe
Mhm.
we'll have it better if you got 0 last week, but so just ignore it, slide him in, no worries.
Yeah, if if it continues, then it's a red flag. But I'll treat it as an outlier to the talent.
Okay, and then what about the Colson Loveland? Right, he had the breakout. He looked amazing. I mean, but is it just the Cincy bump? Like, where was Loveland in your tight end ranks this week?
Let's pull it up real quick. I had him at the tight end 9.
So not a huge bump because we got no Crafts, no Ferguson.
Cole Kmet's active again, so he'll be back in the lineup this week. Not to say that I think that Loveland should still be the primary receiving tight end rest of the season. I think it will just eat into the target share, and it feels like his Adunze 0 was a product of Loveland's high, and I think that will like ebb and flow and kind of we won't see the ceiling performance from Loveland again this year, but he could
Again,
be.
we won't see it again this year.
It felt like too good, like as perfect of a scenario he could have had, but he has that ceiling in his belt, so it puts him on elite tight end watch, right? If it picks up.
Okay. And then what about then? We also saw with the Giants, right? No Scat. People, would say, "Oh, Tyron Tracy's back," but then Devin Singletary got a lot of the work. How would you rank even the 4 running backs? How would you rank them for this week? Right, Tracy, Singletary, Montague, and Swift.
I think I'd probably put both the Bears running backs up top.
Wow.
Just because Dart likes to run the goal line touchdowns in as well.
Good point.
And it's just like the I believe in the ground game for the Bears this season a lot more than I do for the Giants. And I think Monungai might be more talented than both Giants running backs and himself too.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I like that. Yeah, because Dart's pretty much good for a rushing touchdown every game, right? So, okay. But then we saw the Bears run the Philly, the Chicago, right? Was it DeAndre Swift who threw it to Caleb? No, he was out. Sorry, I mean, yeah, DJ Moore.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Because I was doing the wide receiver ranks, and then I think Moore was like the wide receiver. Either was it 3 or 6 last week? But his receiving line, he had 4 receptions for like 57 yards, without a touchdown. But I think he ran one, he threw one, so that's why. We got a touchdown. Penix to Drake London. Let's go.
Man,
I need it. Well, so let's this Berlin game. Let's say we were before the game started. How would all my leagues just Penix London? It's the best. How would you have played this game fantasy wise, right? Because Indy is, I think, what were they? Are they 30th, 31st, 32nd giving up wide receiver points, right? They're right there with Pittsburgh and probably Cincy's being the worst, right? Or Dallas.
Yeah, they allow they allow the 9th most.
Only the 9th most. Okay. I thought it was worse than that. Tyler, kicker question. Sorry, we'll get to it. But they allow a ton of points, but then they trade for Sauce Gardner, and then there's a thing saying Sauce is going to follow Drake London. I mean, obviously you are not going to bench London, but like, would that have put a little fear of God into you if you were rostering Drake? Or
no, I think Drake London is just one of those like I think he's just better than a lot of guys. He might just be a bad matchup for Sauce Gardner. He might just be too big, too tall, and I wouldn't have. I don't think there's anything that could put fear into my heart for starting Drake London this year. He just feels so good.
Other than Michael Penix being in Berlin.
Yeah. But I mean, I would have liked the matchup either way.
What about the flip side? Because Atlanta's pass secondary is so great, right? So Pittman, we'd obviously start. But Downs, I think, has scored in 3 straight. He's looked really reliable. But then Pierce is a deep threat. Would you try and get all 3 in, 1 in? Obviously, we're starting Tyler Warren.
I probably wouldn't have started Downs coming into this game. I think Pierce's play style makes him like an interesting like flex play, like just because of the deep pass, the big play area of the field he's attacking, no matter the matchup. But that said, I probably still wouldn't have given the matchup. I thought I would assume this would be a game we'd see all Jonathan Taylor, but they've been getting it done through the air in this one so far.
Yeah, because if you look at your thing, right, the Falcons they give up they give up running back points, right, the 10th most. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes is that a product of teams not passing on them,
Yeah,
right? It's kind of one of those. So they might not even be that bad versus the run, but there's the quantity overload.
100%. They're bottom 5 in pass defensive PROE, so their teams are running on it at the 5th highest rate in passing situations this year or over
That's
the last 4
close.
weeks.
Okay, so toughest question. You only got one running back spot. Who are you starting, Jonathan Taylor or Bijan?
I think I'd start JT. Given the
PPR league.
run PPR, I'd probably still start JT.
Okay. But yeah, I think you probably have to, right? Is it and would the matchup be any sort of a breaking point? Like, would you rather go against Atlanta, given them the 10th most running back points, kind of a run funnel, or Indy, whose defense kind of hasn't been that great kind of all season, but is also more vulnerable through the pass?
I think
Oh,
I'd
Colts give up the 24th most running back points, so they've been really stingy to running backs. So okay,
yeah.
so it's easy money.
And part of that is a product of them also inviting the pass a lot more this year too. They're 4th in defensive PROE. Teams are because they score the most points in the league this year. I think they average like 32.3 points per game on offense. So teams are just forced to throw a lot on them too, and that's what will lead to some of the lower RB point totals. And that's when you kind of take that into account when you have elite guys like Bijan. Like he's still going to be a part of the offense no matter whether or not Atlanta's running or throwing the ball.
He's probably been more effective catching the ball than running the ball this season anyway. So
Mhm.
almost, them going up to a lead, unless they get up big. I remember in the Carolina game, I had Bijan, I think, receiving or rushing yards, and they were down 30-0. 8 minutes left in the fourth. They sat him, and there goes my bet. So that killed me.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's get to some questions. Bradley Tom, what up, boys? I love that. What up, boys? Feels great for a Sunday. Pure desperation pick. Okay, all right, that's where we live. Pick 2 running backs PPR. Okay, Bam Knight or DeMarcado, the Arizona special, Chuba Hubbard or Chris Rodriguez. This question's kind of going around a lot. Or T Jennings. Help me out. Who's T Jennings?
That is Terrell Jennings, the backup for Travion in New England.
Oh wow, Jesus. Okay. So we're obviously we got to do one of these Arizona guys, right? So last week they said Bambi the RB1, but then DeMarcado had the much better game. Is there a way to pick between these two? Who's getting the goal line work, the passing work? Because the Seattle defense is pretty good.
Yeah, Seattle defense is good. I think if I were to pick one of these backs, I'd take the better pass catching back. So I think it'd be DeMarcado because the Cardinals are, I think, 7-point dogs in this game. They're probably going to be trailing. Jacoby Brissett's been playing good too. He should be able to find um, his best target on the field, which at times will be the running back against the good Seattle defense. And I don't know if I'd probably think that there'd be more opportunities for him. And Knight is more the goal line guy, and I don't know how often the Cardinals are going to be punching it in at the one on Seattle.
But okay, so we're definitely picking one of the Arizona ones, right?
I think so, just given how small the roles of the remaining backs available to us are.
Yeah, right. Hubbard's probably obviously the best back, but Rico's a little banged up. But also this matchup, it's like I'm somebody asked me something like this, but I'm not taking Chris Rodriguez at home versus Detroit in a negative pass in a game where they're going to be passing the whole time.
Yeah, I think this one is actually just going to be Chuba. I think last week, like Tyler Shuck had the 3rd lowest time of possession in an NFL game in history. He had like 16 minutes because they were just going 3 and out left and right. And that said, when the Panthers have 2 running backs in a rotation, the more drives that they're flipping, maybe the Panthers employ like a drive-by-drive rotation, and Chuba Hubbard sees the field more that way. Either way, I think they should be. Panthers are a much better team than the Saints at this point in the season, and Hubbard has more room to get involved than the other 2 guys.
So yeah, Panthers they could blow the Saints out, which is crazy because they could also get blown out because it's the Panthers. But it's more like, okay, if Rico goes only for like 115 instead of 200, maybe that leaves 70 for Chuba. Plus, maybe he's going to be doing the passing down work, 3rd downs, whatever. Because it's like It's Rico's backfield now, but this Chuba they're still paying him, right? So
Hmm.
it's not like it's going to be a 85-15. Maybe it's a 65-35, and then maybe they go up big. Chuba closes the game out. Maybe he's playing the fourth quarter. He
Hmm.
gets to, he could get 100 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. Okay, so Chuba for sure. We don't have that many questions, guys, so we're gonna go all out on these. So the night DeMarcado, you're leading DeMarcado. I guess I probably am too. I think he crushed him in yards per carry last week too.
Hmm. I think he had
But
like,
and he's better receiving back.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not liking Rodriguez as like the RB2 or 3 even against Detroit when they're going to be down 10 points minimum all game. And Terrell Jennings, Tampa has a good run defense for the most part with Vita Vea stuff in the run up the middle. And Henderson feels like he might profile better to get it outside the tackles.
Yeah. Okay. All right. My man Tyler Sperry, kicker question. I don't know how much depth we can go on a kicker question, but Prater or Falk. You got anything for me here?
Take the higher point total. I think the Bills are 10-point favorites with like a point total close to 50. Maybe it's just over it. And the Jets are in a game where the point total is at like 37.5. So just take the higher point total. Hope your kicker gets some points. I take Prater.
Okay, nice. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to devil's advocate, it'd be like Bills are unlikely to kick field goals kind of inside the
Hmm.
20, so you're not going to get those three. Where the Jets probably can't score touchdowns, so
Hmm.
if they can get in there, they're maybe more likely to take three. But yeah, take the higher point total because
Hmm.
what 4 touchdowns, 4 field goal. Your floor is probably 7 points,
Mhm.
right? Whereas
I'll put it this way: field goals will matter more in the Browns Jets games, but you will see more kicker points in the Bills game.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Stiff Izzy, okay. Yo, what up? Parker Washington and Juwan Johnson for flex full PPR. This is a this would be no brainer if it wasn't for the matchup, right? Because it's like, man,
Hmm.
that Houston pass defense is legit. We've seen them. You do not light them up. You don't get 2 passing touchdowns. And Trevor Lawrence isn't reliable. Plus, Parker Washington as a wide receiver 1, like I love him, but if he's playing the Bears, he's a must start. But Houston, it's like okay, 4 for 60, like that's almost the ceiling. So, or Juwan Johnson, who might get this roll bump with Shaheed out. Is this a negative game script? I'm leaning Juwan Johnson. Where are you?
Um, yeah, I might lean Juwan too. The Jags went out and pumped out pumped up the run game against the Raiders last week. They went out in jumbo a lot more. They deployed 3 tight ends on the field. They put the ball in the dirt. I could see them doing something similar against the Texans, who have been, why would you want to throw on them this year with the pass rush and the secondary they have? Um, I might lean. I think you're right. I think it's Juwan here.
It's just his Texans defense, right? 32nd in QB points allowed, 29th wide receiver points. I mean, so it's like, Lawrence, maybe he goes for 160. He might pass for 160 in this game. Like the defense has been that good. Plus, the Jags they're down. Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr. It's a lot of gross guys. But yeah, in a different matchup, I'm like, give me Parker Washington like 8
Hmm.
for 110 and a touchdown, and like
Hmm.
I'd ride him over some really big names.
Yeah.
Um,
I will
but
say
I
Parker
can't.
Washington will probably still see like 10, 12 targets in this game. If you want guaranteed volume, it's just going to be like empty calories against a bad or a great Houston defense.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Tyler. Okay, we got a real question for us. Thank you. Also, White or Kyron, who by himself, but last time Kyron played the 49, he dropped 38 at that Thursday night game. Um, Kyron had 38 points, fantasy points in that game? I know didn't he fumble at the one?
I think so, and he did it on me. I remember very
Okay,
well.
decent. So we got Rashad White, who's like, pure volume, no talent. But he's not getting Baker's not really checking down that much. I mean, I don't get it. What's the argument for White? For Rashad White here?
um, they're off a bye, fresh legs. Bucky Irving's still out. But it's a brutal matchup. The Patriots haven't allowed a single rusher to go over 50 yards on the ground this season. And it's just bad matchup. I would play Kyron. The offense, like with how good the Rams offense is playing too, like the Kyron is going to be carried by that.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for the question. We love the questions, but like, what if White was getting 1.5 points to Kyron? Like, I'd still play Kyron.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
It's probably like dead even, but I'm still like taking the positive upside case versus getting the
Just
multiplier.
go look at the Pats, what they've done to these running backs, right? Bijan did nothing. Like, and these great running backs are doing nothing. Rashad White isn't great. He's barely good. He's just serviceable. But that offense can prop him up. So yeah, no brainer. But I guess maybe because Bucky's coming back, you want to get that one last Rashad White game in.
Mm-hmm.
So I get the logic, but I mean, benching Kyrie would be crazy. Okay, Ryan, Schultz are likely. Okay. I think I saw a question like almost like this on the Discord. Schultz, we got Davis Mills in, but maybe that's kind of a pro. He'll just take those easy tight end completions instead of like trying to sit in the pocket for Nico. Likely, he's ramping. Maybe a great matchup versus Minnesota. Mark Andrews looked good. I don't know. Where are you here? I mean, Likely's my guy. I love him, but
Yeah, I think it's really close. Especially because it's standard. Because standard makes me like Likely's profile more, but I think Schultz is the better play this week in other formats. Bowers just destroyed. Obviously, he's an otherworldly talent, but Brock Bowers had 3 touchdowns on the Jaguars last week, completely destroyed them. And like you said, I'm in the same boat with Davis Mills. I think he'll be fine on like the first second read with Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz as the easy guys, easy button targets. Um, and the Jags have been, I think they're first in pass rate over expected on defense this year. So teams are wanting to throw the ball against them a lot more. I'd probably just take Schultz here as the better, as the more likely target volume.
yeah, I mean, because he's had some big games, but just the devil's advocate again. So Vikings, it's just I don't know what defense this is, right? But last season, huge pass funnel, right? They were one of the best teams against the run. Beginning of the season, it flipped. People were running on them. You couldn't throw on them. And then now it seems like it's kind of flipping back where the run defense has showed up and you can throw on them. But I think they're giving up the 24th most points to wide receivers. So it's not great for a wide receiver like a Flowers Bateman, but they're giving up the 11th most to tight ends. So maybe a sneaky spot for Likely. We know Lamar's back. If they're throwing up 30, I mean, Likely was my like top 5 lock-in have to draft player in the summer until he broke his foot. Because we just knew this would happen. Slow start, so it's about Likely is going to pop. It's just about when, right? Is it this week? This could be the week. Is it going to be next week after? And then once he pops, I don't think he's going back. So the standard, you're saying standard more likely because he's more probably touchdown. He's got a better chance of scoring.
Yeah, I think that he's more likely to get a touchdown either in the red zone and even make a big play downfield too. He's a big body guy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think I lean Schultz too, and because maybe if you're like me and you're superstitious, if you bench Likely, that's his best shot to go off. Right? If you you think you're the main character like I do. Okay, another one, Ryan. Krosky Merritt or Travion Henderson in the flex. This is pretty easy money. Okay, let's just start with that one. JCM, Bill, or Travion. I mean, we got to go Travion, right?
Have to. The Washington offense is hard to trust, or at least, especially JCM just hasn't done it. It's been like 3 or 4 games now. He's kind of just been fool's gold. And Henderson, like Tampa's been good at stopping the run, but as long as they can get it outside the tackles with him or get him involved in the passing game, I think he should be able to do a lot of work on a per touch basis in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe it's a little closer because both defenses kind of are stout, but it's like Do you think Washington can hang around in this game? Right. I think Detroit's out. Is Detroit off the bye?
No, who'd they play last week?
Okay, my bad. But that Detroit offense is just ready to explode. It's just I mean, what do you think they put up? 38? If you had to bet your life on an under, I guess that maybe on the road a little tough, but
They lost last week, and Dan Campbell is
Oh
12-0
god.
off a loss. So this is probably going to be a slaughter.
Because in the right matchup, JCM's a great spot because we know with Mariota, they want to do kind of the option, ball control, run the ball. They're not going to be really attacking downfield. So he'll get, a lot of touches. But if they're down 14-0 after one, and then it's got to be Mariota and shotgun, they're just going to get, torn apart, right? So Henderson's pretty much got a guaranteed role. The Pats are an awesome team. They could beat Tampa. That's got shootout potential. He's got big play potential. Yeah, I think easy Travion. Okay, Keenan Allen or Addison as wide receiver, standard again. Okay, this is easy for me. But where are you going?
It's easy for you.
You trying to peel the clue back?
Man, I think it's Addison.
Oh no!
Really? No?
Yeah. I
Oh
mean,
man.
Chargers playing the Steelers, who are what they got the worst pass defense in the league.
Yeah,
It's
you're right.
picking Keenan, Ladd, Johnson, or the rookie Getz and tight end. But I mean, I know Herbert's probably throwing up 300, 350, right? JJ McCarthy, am I confident he gets to 200 yards?
You're 100% right. The Ravens defense are playing better. They're 100% healthy, I think. Off
Close,
the bye,
not 100,
close. But you're 100% right. Steelers are allowing the most pass yards per game in the NFL. In my head, every other pass catcher on the Chargers will be able to beat the Steelers vertically, which is where that's where the Steelers have given up all their passing yards this season.
That makes sense, but yeah, I just think they're going to be marching down and just Keenan doing his crazy little, where he like turns and I don't know, flips his hips.
Yeah,
I love that little right, but
man,
he's just great in the red zone. But yeah. It's just Addison. What did he have last week? Right?
I think he had 3 touches, including a carry for 65 yards. But I think that the Ravens offense looks really good, and that might force the Vikings to really kind of put everything on the table to keep up in this one. And they've been beaten by our receivers have beaten the Ravens this year consistently. Even with the defense healthy, the Bears had 2 receivers go over 70 yards.
That's true. Okay, that's true. Marlon Humphrey's been terrible, but yeah, Kyle Hamilton's been great. Yeah, if Hamilton's on, if JJ, they put all their attention towards Justin Jefferson, who finally scored again last week. So yeah, it's. I guess maybe it's a little closer, but it's like I see a team's playing the Steelers. It's like, okay, give me the full boat, give me everyone you got. And
Totally
it's just,
fair.
I think that Baltimore defense is sneaky good. So it's like last year, we got to throw away a bunch of those numbers from early on.
And it being standard league too, I always tend to go towards the big play guy versus the PPR. But touchdowns matter, and Keenan Allen is a big red zone threat.
Oh, okay, guys. Yeah, guys. I haven't looked at how many people are watching. We just got a big jump. So yeah, guys, if you're watching, hit us some questions, right? We love questions. Start, sit, trade, any sort of crazy questions you got. Survivor, we'll do it all. Survivor would be a fun question. But we'll just keep going previewing games. Let's just Bills Miami game. Because it's, I don't even know what the stats are, but it's like Josh Allen, what is he, 12-0 versus Miami? He throws 2 touchdowns every game. He just crushes them. Tua's terrible versus, the good teams. They're just, Miami's just about to give it up, right? They almost just traded Waddle, so he's going to be pissed. Everyone's pissed. Everyone might get fired. But is there any chance Miami shows up in this game?
I'm the only player on Miami that I'm even excited to start or in any bit is Devon Achane. You're starting Waddle with a bad taste in your mouth, and you're not looking at anyone else.
Oh yeah, okay, that's probably fair. But this Bills defense we've seen is a little trick or treaty, right? Like they get murdered by Atlanta. Just Bijan and Drake will combine for 300 yards or something, right? But then they'll show up some other game, so you never really know. Miami at home, at least Tua is going to be a little more comfortable there. And they lit up. Was it it was Atlanta, right? When they
Mhm.
lit up Atlanta, so it's like they can still show up, and it's still football, right? Football is crazy. Like we've got this Rams Niners matchup where a few weeks ago on the Thursday, I was like, the only reason the Niners have a chance is because they have no chance. So I think kind of same thing here. Miami's got a shot because everyone in the world has put Buffalo into a tease, a money line parlay, right? So
100%.
So is there's no sneaky play like Tua? You play him in a super flex league, but you're not playing him in any QB1.
Yeah, you're not sneaking him in QB1 leagues. He's been too bad consistently against the Bills to trust him. But hey, maybe they've got a chip on their shoulder. Jalen Waddle surely has something to prove if teams either didn't want to pay enough for him or whatever it may be.
What do you put into this? Miami's giving up the 31st most points to wide receivers, right? Because their secondary is not really any good. I like that they get traded for Minka, and I like Minka, but I mean, so is that scaring you off? Playing Shakir? Because I got Shakir in a lot of leagues as my wide receiver 3, but usually, so it's like Shakir or Josh Downs, or like Rashad Bateman, like all these kind of like, or what if I had Parker Washington, like. Where do you have Shakir? Is he a solid play for you? Because he's like a 5 for 60 every game.
I think he's like the Dolphins like matchup is like generally good because they're 10-point favorites. The defense is generally bad, but the big thing is that every team wants to run on them. They're dead last in defensive pass rate over expected. So every team that comes into Miami is just putting it on the dirt and taking care of business. And
taking care of business.
And that said, I think that's going to lower opportunities for Shakir in this one. But the offense should still be very productive in this game. So if he's a part of that, I think that there's still room for him to get it done here.
Okay, and then James Cook, I remember he missed practice, and I saw these tweets like, make sure Ray Davis isn't on the wire. And I went to look, and he wasn't on the wire in most of my leagues, so I couldn't get him. But Ray Davis has been like the handcuff that people have been talking about all summer because James Cook was holding out. We know how that always goes. But James Cook instead is having one of the best running back seasons maybe in the history of Buffalo. Certainly the best of his career, even though he had like 18 touchdowns last year. If this game's all 9-point favorites, is there any way to sneak Ray Davis into a lineup where it's like, okay, Tua throws for 3 picks, it's 28-7 at half, and then Cook's already banged up, so let's pull him halfway through the third, and Ray Davis gets like 12 carries, averages 6 a pop, and scores a touchdown.
I could totally see that being a thing. Like you said, with the Dolphins being as dysfunctional as they are and having the trade deadline that they had, like, yes, the chip on their shoulder is one outcome of this game, but the other outcome is they just get obliterated by 45 points, and that's that. And in that outcome, Ray Davis would probably end up being like a solid flex play, and maybe because
we saw that question before. Like, so would you put Ray Davis above like Chris Rodriguez, that other Pats running back? I don't remember. Rashad White. Would you play Rashad White or Ray Davis?
Rashad White. Just because Ray Davis has been like a zero with James Cook in the lineup, it's hard. You can't really play Ray Davis, but like if you're desperate, he's probably a better dart throw than other guys out there right now. Like he's probably right there with Rodriguez right now. But maybe with Cook being injured early in the week, maybe he gets re-injured. There's that.
Don't say that. I got too much James. I got James Cook in my big money league.
My fault.
Okay, we got a question here from Bryce Edward. Who's that? Number 4. Is that Heinz? Who is that? Do you know? I'm bad at numbers.
Is that DK?
Oh yeah. See, I'm bad at numbers. Looks too modern for it to be Heinz Ward, but he's jacked. All right, start 2. Quinn Johnson, AJ Brown, or Dave. I was like, who's David Monty? But it's Montgomery. I figured it out. Sorry, I've never seen the I there instead of the Y. We got AJ Brown off the injury report. There's rumors of trade. Diva wide receiver. It's just crazy that he's in this. I mean, we're obviously starting AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. That was a .
Yeah, you start AJ Brown. It's just because it's been what it is with AJ Brown. Like you're starting him, but it's been what it is. Um, uh, and then
But I feel like he's been good lately. Like he got hurt, but he had those multi-touchdown games. Hurts had that streak of 280 for 3 games in a row. Barkley sucks, so they are passing. They have to move the ball, right? Like
mhm.
Barkley can't even get 80. Barkley's like 18 for 65 now, right? So, I mean, maybe Devontae Smith is now better, but yeah, I mean, I'm confident and happy starting AJ Brown this week, right? The Packers, I think it's a good game, tough matchup. But I would prefer that. Like if they're playing the Giants, I might be a little bit worried. But
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, AJ Brown, let's go.
Okay, I'm with it for sure. Especially with these two options, it shouldn't have been as a labored a labored agreement. But
Yeah, if it was like Jalen Waddle, AJ Brown, James Cook, okay, now we can talk. But
yeah.
okay, Quentin Johnson, what do we do there? Because he's kind of been the odd man out with this Gadsden, right? He was like a top 10 wide receiver earlier in the year. He was better than Ladd. He was better than Keenan. He was a touchdown magnet, but this Orlando Gadsden made him useless, right? He had what, 0 targets or 0 catches 2 weeks ago. I think last week he had a pretty solid game. He scored again.
Mhm.
What do we do with Quentin Johnson? Because he's boom or bust right now,
I am. This is the week you put him in.
right?
But that said, David Montgomery is in that monster potential beating against the Commanders. So I think this is closer than we think. But I really like Johnston against the Steelers. The Steelers have been torched by deep in breaking routes all season long, and
Right.
that is everything that Quentin Johnston is all about. Like, I'm upset because I don't have any Quentin Johnston. I would start him everywhere this week. Um,
Yeah, so yeah, last week he had 6 targets. 2 weeks ago, 6 targets, and then four. But he had the 0 targets against Minnesota 2 weeks ago. But he scored in every other game, of the season. Like it's crazy. He's got two, three, four, like he's got 6 touchdowns. And Montgomery, the thing is that Detroit running games really stalled out, right? Like
mhm,
Gibbs had what, like 29 yards, like. They've had a bunch of games under 100 combined, where last year maybe they had what, one, maybe two, were combined under
mhm.
100 rushing yards. So I'm
Yeah,
not. And Washington is kind of good versus the run, but
they're 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 bad at outside runs, which is all Jahmyr Gibbs' wheelhouse.
yeah.
So if there's a running back that's going to do it against a Washington defense that's been better against the run this year than anything else, it's Gibbs taking it outside against and getting one-on-one matchups against Bobby Wagner and all the other old guys out there.
Poor Bobby. Yeah, because the Montgomery, like, where'd you have him this week? Your running back rankings? Because it's like, last year they were, their Sonic Hedgehog or Sonic Lightning or whatever. But really, it's like Gibbs is like getting 70, Monty's kind of getting 30, but both 70 and 30 aren't really that great, right? So it's like 70% of 50, where last year it was like 60 of 150.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is, right? It feels like they were pulling from more than 100%. Like they were getting fantasy running back points that were available to them and no other team in the league because of how well that team runs the rock last year. But I had Montgomery at the RB22. It is a
Okay.
it's a rough week though, and it's a good matchup. Or whenever the lines are high favorite, high point totals, I just that spells David Montgomery to me.
Okay. So a couple of things. So we'll preview a game and a couple other things I want to talk about. Like, who's the waiver wire pickup of the season so far for you? Let's say, like, just in one QB
Hmm.
leagues, because Superflex might be, Joe Flacco, I guess.
I was gonna say one QB or two QB might be Jackson Dart.
Oh, okay.
Because he was kind of Russell Wilson started, so he started in a lot of leagues. He was just on the waivers to start the year.
He got
Um,
drafted in most Superflex leagues I was in.
okay, um, um, even in one QB leagues, he might be there. But uh, to 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 go to one QB leagues,
You know, like Gadsden, right? The way he's emerged on
y-
the Chargers, right? He's been
uh,
crazy. Plus, it's such a fun offense to be part of.
yeah, Gadsden came out of nowhere. Rico Dowdle, he could end up being a huge one. Um, Trying to comb.
Kamani Vidal.
Yeah, Vidal, he's been hit or miss because he's been dropping the ball on the matchups that should be big games. So he's showing up when you don't, or he's showing up when you don't start him, and he's not showing up when you bench him, or when you do start him.
Quentin Johnson.
I think he was drafted to start the year in a lot of leagues, even if the back end of the bench.
Okay. Troy Franklin, Trey Tucker, because Franklin, is he the wide receiver one now? That's another thing I wanted to. What wide receiver twos have kind of emerged as wide receiver ones, right? Jalen Waddle did it for injury, but like Devontae Smith is probably better than AJ Brown right now. And Troy Franklin with Cortland Sutton. Trey Tucker with Jacoby Myers. Because last year I felt like it was all the wide receiver twos all dropped the ball, right? They all sucked. But this year it seems like it's a return.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Trey Tucker definitely came out of nowhere, especially with all the rookie buzz with the that the receivers got, or that the rookie receivers got from Vegas. It felt like Trey Tucker was almost like black sheeped from like the the fantasy football offseason, but he came out and showed that he was basically the focal point of the receiving room.
Marcus, I'm sure there's a question here, but just dropping in the cut to your rank 8-1 full PPR, the flex. I love it. I'm sure there's a question coming, but that's something Nate would do. Okay, so let's just sorry, I'm bouncing around here. It's just I want to get through a lot of stuff before we have to wrap up, but we still got about 10 more minutes. Let's get to that Pats Bucks game because it's a little wonky, right? We got Kayshon Boutte who's going to be out, so is Diggs the wide receiver one, and then does somebody slip in, right? They got the rookie, what's his name?
Kyle Williams.
Kyle Williams, who's kind of sucked, but does Hunter Henry get the nice bump?
Yeah, I actually really like this game to be kind of a shootout. I think both teams are going to be both teams are going to find far and away their most effective forms of offense through the air in this one. Mm-hmm. So I feel like both teams are going to drop back a lot. I think I'm not starting Kyle Williams. He did play a ton of snaps, but Demario Douglas looked good. He popped for a few big games. And if they need him now more than ever, it feels like. And like you said, Hunter Henry, he was the go-to guy early in the season for Hunter Henry, or for Drake May. Then May kind of started airing out a bit, getting comfortable with his receivers. Maybe he kind of brings that back in a little bit without Kayshon Boutte at his, however you say it, at his disposal. Because Boutte has been like, I think he's number one in downfield catch rate over expected this year. He's been insane.
Really? Okay. Just quickly, guys, welcome to the show, everyone. Remember, give us the thumbs up, subscribe, a like, give us the whole bag. Yeah, right? So you don't miss an episode. But yeah, because that's what I'm going to say. Boutte's been that downfield guy. Diggs is more kind of around the sticks. Henry in the middle. And then Pop Douglas is more, more of a kind of check down yak guy. Who's going to be attacking downfield on this Bucs secondary? That's where you want to attack. Plus, Drake May's got one of the best deep throws in the game, right? So somebody's got to go downfield. Who's it going to be, and who's going to reap those rewards?
Yeah, I think Douglas kind of did it for a bit last week. That said, Kyle Williams did that in college, and he could run. He was running some of those routes. He just didn't get many looks. I think I don't really know. I think the opportunities will be there for both those guys to do it, but it's just a matter of who gets them.
Okay. And then on the Tampa side, right? So we got Tampa, they're off the bye. Hopefully they're healthier. But Ibuka was the classic thing, right? Hamstring strain. Oh, he's playing. He's good, but he wasn't, right? So it's like, we got the same with Ted Rowe and McMillan. We'll talk about it in a second. But Ibuka, we're thinking fully healthy, wide receiver, smash spot. Even though Christian Gonzalez, but we've seen Drake London just lit him up. So he's not like a true shutdown like Surtain. But who are we sliding in beside him, right? Is it Tez Johnson?
I think so. And I think you can get away with starting Tez Johnson as a wide receiver 3 or flex this week. Both teams are top 7 in defensive pass rate over expected. The Buccaneers themselves are sorry. They're actually middle of the pack in EPA for pass. But Sorry, I just think there's going to be a ton of passing volume in this one, and that just screams shootout, a lot of dead clock, a lot of big gains, and I'm just trying to get pass catchers in those games, especially in a week where you see a bunch of down totals across the board.
Yeah, with no Lamb, no Pickens, no T, no Chase, right? Some people are going to be scraping the barrel. And then yeah, the Pats like they're that perfect kind of team where it's like, oh, you can't run on them, you got to throw. We know Tampa likes to throw anyways, so like I love Tez this week. Like he's really good after the catch. He brings it home. Like that touchdown he scored the other week when he did like the spin. He did the Madden, like the Madden when you press all the buttons and he scores a touchdown. So yeah, I like him a lot. I love that game. It's fun. So you got one QB spot. Who are you starting, Baker or Drake?
Drake May.
Oh, really? Wow! Like you didn't even have to think about it.
He's been too good.
Okay.
It's just too good. He's like number one in EPA per play against the blitz, and the Bucks blitz at the third highest rate in the league, or something close to that.
Yeah.
I just expect him to continue to keep getting it done. He's been too good to ignore.
Okay, and then devil's advocate, he's kind of getting a little like the O-line's banged up. The Tampa, we know he's great versus the blitz, but he's getting sacked a lot, right? He's a little under siege now. I love Drake May. I said he could be a top 5 guy when he was ranked like 18th in the summer. I was like, this guy's going to be a stud. But Baker, we know Baker is a stud, right? Baker will do whatever it takes. He's going to be healthy off the bye week. It's just like Baker's throwing for 300 today. So Drake's and he's going to probably run for 30. So like, where's Drake going to beat him, right? Drake's probably more. They're both probably mistake prone, but do you think they're both guaranteed 20 plus? Like, but if one had to score 30, you're saying it's going to be Drake?
Yeah,
that's
I
fine.
think that's yeah. I think you laid it out kind of pretty perfectly for how I have it.
I just worry with the Butte out. I just don't know his downfield's gonna be there. But okay, Marcus, you're 8-1. You don't really need our help, but whatever, we'll give it to you. All right, Kamara, Rico, Swift, Benson. Are we ranking them? All right, well let's rank them. Benson's not playing, right? I don't understand what this is, Marcus. How are you 8-1, but you can't give us a proper question? But Benson's out, so it's so we got Swift questionable, Rico, Kamara. I mean, Kamara may as well be out, right?
Yeah, you just start Swift and Rico and be 9-1.
If you only had to start one, Rico. I mean, you got to start Rico, right?
It's Rico.
What if Swift was fully healthy and Montague was out? Would you maybe then go Swift over Rico?
Maybe.
Because the Saints defense, like, are they bad? They're like, it's like, what are they, right? But they're 31st pass rate over expectation. So that means everyone's running on them.
Yeah, everyone's putting it on the dirt.
Okay, and Rico. Okay, so who would you play over Rico? Travion Henderson.
I had him as my RB3 this week.
Okay,
so
Bijan or Jonathan Taylor.
It's JT and CMC, and then Rico.
Oh wow. Okay. So congrats, Marcus. Hopefully, 8-1. Man, I'm jealous. All right, MD soon. Trying to choose between Tyron Tracy, Montague thinking ceiling higher with the Bears, 0.5 PPR. Well, we talked about it earlier. Nate said easy. Sorry for the cryptic message. It's trying to type out Marcus, bro. It's not worth your life. Trying to choose you said you were Montague easy money, right? You had Montague like a tier above Tracy, 2 tiers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe with the matchup, 2 tiers. Obviously, they're both good, but yeah.
What if they told you that Tracy was going to be the RB1 this week, but Swift was going to be the RB1? Because that's kind of how it should be anyways. But the Singletary stuff was weird last week. But Tracy's a lot better than Singletary. Dylan, my man, what up? So it's just I really like Tracy, but the Montague, like he looked great last week. He didn't score, but he was beasting through the holes.
Yeah, I like Tracy too. For what it's worth, I just think that the usage is too fuzzy to like. It's going to be fuzzy for Monungai too because DeAndre Swift has an injury, but he's playing. Monangai had this great game last week, but he's still the rookie RB2. It's going to be there's a wide range of outcomes here for both of these backfields. But I just like.
Which stat do we love, right? So EPA per run, Giants are 14th, Bears are 10th. Okay, that's close. Okay, wide receiver running back points allowed. Giants giving up the third most. Okay, that's a nice spot. You want the rookie Monagay. Bears giving up the 13th most. That's kind of middle of the pack. Bears at home, right? You always kind of want the running game at home because lines travel.
And we talked about Dart taking goal line opportunities away from the Giants.
Back to Monagay.
Yeah, I think Monangai has more routes to success, but there is a world where Tracy is the better play this week.
Yeah. Okay. And one of these times I'll get his name right. I don't know why this is killing me. Okay, 8-1. It looks like you pulled over for this one because otherwise you're the greatest tech driver in the world. So 8-1 in my single flex PPR league. Okay, trying to upgrade my flex. Current running backs are Rico, Swift, Kamara, Benson. We got through that, and then Chase, Devontae, Worthy, Pearsall. Any advice? Your team's pretty gangster. But at 8-1, I think you're looking for risk, right? You want that guy to put you over the top, right? Mm-hmm. Like that might be Pearsall. If you were 4 and 5, maybe you try and trade Pearsall to someone who's willing to take that shot, right? So it's like you need to upgrade your wide receivers.
Yeah. I think Worthy is kind of just like a handcuff to Rashee Rice at this point as a wide receiver. I'm not really trying to start him unless Rice is out for whatever reason. So in my opinion, or to me, you only have 2 wide receivers that you can start right now. So I would try and either move Pearsall and Kamara for some sort of upgrade in that sense if you want. It's going to.
But Pearsall's the kind of guy you would want to trade for because he's the guy you can hold on to him, and hopefully he comes back because nobody's taking him unless they're also in a good spot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of who would be buying Xavier Worthy right now, which it's tough.
Who's the guy to target then? You kind of want somebody who's underperforming or who's in a bad situation that will get better, later in the season.
I've thought about I've been thinking about the Browns potentially being better, just like a scrappy passing game, maybe opening things up a bit more. Cedric Tillman just got activated off IR. He might be a stash in free agency. Trying to come through for.
No, this guy's 8-1. This guy's looking for the hammer. He's the hammer. I'm maybe Jaden Reed.
Jaden Reed.
Ibuka. Yeah, Ibuka will do it.
Yeah. If we're going that high, shoot.
But to give up Ibuka, you'd have to give up Dowdle. And then
you're trying to think of turnaround spots around the league. Like maybe a Chris Olave if you want risky upside because there's just going to be so much target share there. But that
Terry McLaurin, because I think we saw Jaden Daniels back week 12, I think, or something. So
yeah, I think it'll depend on their record though. If they just end up losing, he's not going to come back.
Yeah, maybe Debo then, because
Yeah.
Because if you got Debo, Mariota, it's like you don't want any part of that Washington team for the next couple of weeks. But yeah.
Try and trade for an injured Kayshon Boutte. See if someone needs a starter there.
But essentially, you want to go look at the teams, and if it's 12 teams, look at the team in 10th, who is 4 and 5, 3 and 6. Does that math work? Yeah, and is can't afford to take another L, right? Mm-hmm. And it's give them just some instant production for somebody that they're, that is just struggling or hurt, right? So that's what I would do.
Or you package an upgrade. Like you have to forfeit something. Like if you want to upgrade Devontae Smith to maybe a more consistent wide receiver 1, you package him with Kamara for someone who needs a running back and is looking to get off of.
Yeah, sure. Okay. That's enough, Marcus. stay straight on the road. All right, Dylan,
Yeah.
my man, what up? Full PPR, 2 questions, 2 leagues. Love it. Nice and simple. One, tight end, Loveland or Schultz? Probably pretty easy money. I don't know. I've kind of been on the theme of like, okay, you can't bench Loveland. He just had that super game. But like, I said the same thing about Brock Bowers, and it's like, maybe you almost bench the guy after the super game because then the whole scouting report that week is like, don't let Brock Bowers get open. So like, maybe teams are going to be a tee up on Loveland, but obviously the Giants and the Texans are not the same. Can you make an argument for Schultz over Loveland?
Yeah, Schultz. You argue that Brock Bowers just destroyed the Jaguars as a tight end. Had 3 touchdowns on 127 yards. Texans are starting Davis Mills. They're also, that's going to shorten the reads for the offense. So it'll pretty much just be like a 2-read, throw it away offense. And to me, that's just going to be Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, throw it away. And
if you go Giants defense, right? They give up the 7th most points to QB, 7th to wide receiver, 3rd to running back, but 21st to tight end. So if that defense does anything well, it kind of defends tight ends well. But still, my favorite thing is like, okay, which one are you going to be more upset about? If you bench Loveland and he goes for 80 and a touchdown again, or you bench Schultz and he does that, right? I think if Loveland has that breakout and then you bench him, you'd be more pissed. And so I think you probably play that matchup, but I get it. Bowers just killed them.
I did find the stats on for Schultz here. The Jaguars do allow the 2nd most points to tight ends this season.
Oh, no.
And they are 1st in pass rate over expected, meaning teams are just throwing it more than anything against them.
Okay, so depends. Do you want to bet on Davis Mills? He's below competent, but he can throw the ball. It's not like a Marcus Mariota or like a Justin Fields situation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
your bet on the better offense or bet on the more likely target share.
Yeah, sorry, that's Dylan. That's the best we can do with that one. Okay, so we got T. Jennings, JCM, Bam Knight, Emmanuel Wilson. Pick one running back. Okay. Oof, what are we doing here? I'm leaning. I guess I don't know. Am I leaning Bam Knight? It's just these matchups are so terrible.
Yeah. It's Bam Knight or Bill.
Just usage, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they can hang around, right? Golf on the road. Maybe it's windy in Washington. I gotta check Larry. I gotta check your weather report. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, this is ugly. I mean, who's going to be the running back in the first series? And that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, yeah. Who's most likely to do something in the first series?
So it's JCM and Bam.
Yeah, Bam Knight is still like
maybe de facto RB1,
like the de facto goal line back for sure.
Yeah.
He does. He's still getting 100% of the goal line touches. And I'll give it to Jacoby Brissett. He can make the offense move, but that was the Cowboys last week and is the Seahawks this week. So it's a complete matchup.
And the Seattle defense is good, right? They're 22nd running back points allowed, but they're the 5th best defense on the run stop win rate. So like they're a sneaky good defense. But Arizona offense kind of looks good, but it's built around Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr., not Bam Knight and Amari DiMarcado. Right, and we've seen when they'll get to the 1. Trey McBride has 2 touchdowns from Brissett from the 1. Right, so it's like they are not pounding it in. So I don't know. I cross your fingers, close your eyes, and just start JCM, and hopefully he breaks one.
Yeah, JCM still has good advanced metrics. He's just not getting a ton of opportunities to do anything. So he can still break one if the Lions play soft to end the game or anything like that.
Okay. So we got Schultz, likely Mason Taylor, Pop Douglas. Pick 2 flexes. Tight ends can be my flex from above. Okay. I think you got to go Pop Douglas here. It's a high-scoring game. He might be the deep threat by default. So yeah, Pop Doug for sure. And then I mean, I don't want any part of this the Jets offense. It could have been Garrett Wilson. I might have to think about it. I'd start Garrett Wilson, but So likely Schultz back to this game. I think Schultz, your stats were just too convincing. Terrible. High pass rate over expectation. Terrible versus tight ends. All right, you got to trust those numbers. It's what I want to call the podcast: talent over matchup, or talented matchup of talent.
Yeah, it's all going to boil down to what you value more. Trust the talent or trust the numbers. Weigh them both. I guess you start leveling Schultz and Pop Douglas.
Yeah, it's a lot of time.
I'm sorry,
Schultz and Pop Douglas.
Yeah.
And then you just pray, likely, I don't know. So let's say you do that and you got Likely on your bench. You're watching the Ravens game. Are you cheering for Likely? Because if he pops, if he goes 80 and 2 touchdowns, yeah, you piss at us and you piss at yourself. But okay, maybe now he's the true number one option on this awesome offense.
Always cheer for points because you rather have good problems to have than bad problems to have.
Okay. So you're still cheering for him. Okay. So even inside, you want him to score over Mark Andrews?
Unless I got Mark Andrews in another league or something like that.
Okay, guys. We're gonna go for a few more minutes. We got a ton of people watching. So remember, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Give us some love, right? We're here. We're answering your questions. We love it. Hopefully you're just still driving, Marcus. Man, you freaked me out with that script with the because I don't text and drive because one, I'm terrible at it, but also your ability to do it without the grammar is great. But a couple more questions. Okay, Blurpy, my lineup for the week: PPR, QB, Herbert. Congrats, you are going to win. RB1, Rico. Oh my God, Judkins. Okay. Wide receiver 1, Diggs. Wide receiver 2, Odamze. Okay, Jesus Christ. Is there a question here? Or is it just a flex? Flex, you got Debo. Defense, Panthers. You got Caleb. Travion Henderson, DK Metcalf, Seattle be on my bench. Any changes? Okay. Caleb versus Herbert. Is there an argument?
No.
Not.
That matchup with Pittsburgh. The Giants is a great matchup too. 7th in QB points allowed, 7th in receiver points allowed. But I just trust that the Steelers have just been getting lit up, and the way the Chargers do their damage is exactly where the Steelers get beat.
Okay. Boom. This is such a well typed out question. Rico, stud. Judkins, stud. Travion is finally got that roll bump, but it's not over goddamn Rico and Quinshon Judkins, right?
Yeah.
Well, where would Henderson, if it was Rachaad White, would he get the bump? Or what if it was one of the Bears or Giants running backs? You give him the bump?
What are you asking? I'm sorry.
Travion Henderson. Let's say if it was one of the Bears, any of the Bears or Giants running backs.
Versus him?
Yeah.
I'd take DeAndre Swift, and I'd probably play Henderson over the rest.
Okay. Rachaad White or Travion Henderson?
The Pats are so good against the run. Probably Henderson.
Okay. And then we got DK Metcalf, who's kind of a touchdown machine. I think you're gonna want to put him in there. But I don't know. Diggs, you have to start with Boutte out, right? Especially PPR. Diggs is getting, he's going to get a ton of looks. So Diggs we like, but Rome, it's just that goose egg. But like we said, if you after the massive game, right, you kind of maybe want to bench scouting report. After the dud, you really want to start the guy, especially these wide receivers, right? They're all week. I'm sure Caleb, he's like, Caleb, throw me the ball. Caleb, throw me the ball, right? So
his dad's been saying it on Twitter all day long.
Oh, really? Rome's dad?
Yeah.
Okay, but talk DK versus Rome. Give me a DK argument.
Chargers have been really good against the pass this year. But that said, I'm trying to find one, and I really feel like it's just going to be a game where the Steelers have to put the ball on the ground to keep it out of the Chargers' hands, kind of similar to how they treated the Colts last week. That's how they beat. Obviously it was led by a strong defensive performance. They had 5 turnovers from Daniel Jones that helped gift them a 7-point win.
Okay, well, so floor ceiling. Does DK? What's DK? Because DK is not a true wide receiver one. He's kind of like 4 for 70 and a touchdown, right? But Rome's kind of like that too.
Yeah, like I just trust like the Bears passing volume seems to always be there, versus like Pittsburgh. Rodgers likes to target his tight ends a lot too. Even though they only really deploy DK and Calvin Austin out wide consistently, it's just it's not condensed enough to DK's way to trust them on a week to week basis.
Okay, game script, right? Probably Pittsburgh's more likely to be behind, right? Where in Chicago's more likely to be ahead. But then also, if you're gonna say who's gonna score more total points, you'd have to go Chicago, right?
Yeah. I think it's an easy Rome start
Easy
here,
room.
but
Oh, then what are we
yeah.
what are we even doing here? Okay, easy room. Okay. We're gonna go just a couple more minutes, guys. If you got a quick question, drop us in. But remember, you can also jump into the Discord. I will be checking that out before kickoffs, the 1 o'clock, or tweet us directly. What's going on in that indie game? Quick update. Because I haven't got any Drake London Penix tweets, so that's not really good for me.
Just a field goal out the gate from Atlanta, couple turnover, and now the Colts are driving to answer. They're in the red zone.
No Tyler Warren touchdowns. It's not really great for my matchup. Okay. Anything you didn't get in on the show? Any stats? Any little nuggets? I know you got the Sunday preview, but you're not done that yet. So.
Not quite. Real quick, let me. Did you? I didn't get your thoughts on a trade I made, but I traded DK Metcalf, Tyler Warren, and Woody Marks for Puka.
Okay. Wow.
Traded. I had Bowers in that league, so Tyler Warren was expendable.
Nice.
And I moved off, and I gave someone 3 starters for Puka.
I mean, I think, sure. It's great on paper. If Puka stays healthy, you win. If he gets hurt, them's the breaks. But you're probably 7-2 in that league.
I'm 5-4, so that one I'm swinging for the fences with that one.
Okay, yeah. So you guys, here's our Discord. Check it out. I'm always active on it. Nate should be more active on it, but he's not. But that's a future. I'm just kidding. I mean, best player in the trade, unless it's, like a 16-team league where maybe depth is a little bit more valuable. But, you essentially, if you drafted Tyler Warren, you kind of drafted him to trade him, right? You're like, okay, if you take him as your second tight end. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like a question to slow down. We're going to wrap up here. Thanks, everybody, for watching. This is a great show. Week 10, good luck. We're going to need it. And Andre just keeps giving me this stuff, so check out our work. Check out all our articles. We do rankings, we do previews, we do wrap up. No stone left uncovered. But so that's gonna do it for us. So remember, join us, like us, subscribe, come over to YouTube, check us out. We got a show next Thursday, next Sunday, and we'll keep the good times going. All right, thanks, Nate. Cheers, guys. Good luck.
Good luck.